For decades, IT service management was defined by a quiet assumption: maturity required complex bureaucracy. Many organizations built highly engineered, strictly governed frameworks. But these rigid processes often drive poor user adoption and lead to process fatigue. ITIL 4 dismantled this assumption by moving the industry away from those rigid, fixed service lifecycles. The core of this architecture is the service value system. It utilizes 7 universal guiding principles that orbit a central operational hub. For today's analysis, we are isolating 2 specific nodes within this ring: focus on value and keep it simple and practical. ITIL 4 practitioners use these principles as objective filters to design and optimize every component of an IT service. Their mechanical function is to strip away the layers of legacy processes and transform them into streamlined, high-velocity value streams. Modern ITSM practitioners have to stop designing process for process sake. Every decision requires a ruthless, objective filter for verifiable business value. The mandate of the focus on value principle is absolute. Every single activity, investment, or metric must map directly or indirectly to a stakeholder outcome. The ITIL 4 framework defines value as a composite of outcomes, utility, warranty, and experience, rather than a simple financial return. We can quantify the experience variable for architectural design. Experience equals expectation minus reality. A multinational corporation applied this logic when they decided to overhaul their customer service portal. A typical technical approach would involve building a massive feature set based on internal assumptions. This project team rejected those preconceived features. They gathered direct user feedback to determine what actually mattered to their stakeholders. They swiped away the clutter and focused their development budget purely on the user's requirements, streamlining navigation and introducing a chatbot for instant support. Within 3 months of implementation, customer and employee satisfaction metrics rose sharply. By focusing on those high-value pain points, the team closed the gap between expectation and reality. This proves that architectural value comes from targeted execution, not feature bloat. Keep it simple and practical serves as the execution mechanism for the value we just defined. The enemy of this principle is operational complexity, which drives overhead, compliance failures, and system rigidity. The mandate is to use the minimum number of steps necessary to achieve a business objective. This establishes a rule of elimination. If a process, workflow, or metric fails to deliver verifiable value, it must be removed. This is difficult in practice because ITSM teams face conflicting objectives between different stakeholders. Management often requests granular, complex data capture, while the operational user needs a fast, frictionless interface to perform their work. To resolve this, we can look at the ITIL case study for Axel Par Hire. Axel's original booking app captured massive amounts of microdata, tracking exactly how long a customer spent on every individual form field. The team realized this granular microdata provided zero strategic value for decision-making. The true value was the overall speed of the booking process. The team removed those functions to improve the app's overall speed. By eliminating non-value-adding data capture, they simplified the code and accelerated the user experience. This requires sacrificing metrics that do not drive strategic outcomes. These guiding principles do not exist in isolation. They must be applied together. These 2 principles form a closed-loop system and shown in this interaction matrix. Value is the sole objective criterion for simplifying any system. You cannot effectively apply keep it simple and practical without first rigorously defining what value means for the stakeholders involved. Under this rule, any step, action, or data point that fails to generate value or mitigate risk is automatically targeted for deletion. Focus on value defines the architectural target, while keep it simple and practical defines the lowest friction path to get there. Simplicity is not a natural state in enterprise IT. It requires deliberate, persistent effort to remove the redundant layers of legacy processes. Applying these principles shifts IT teams away from managing rigid processes toward architecting dynamic value streams. It is a continuous effort of burning away redundancy. This creates a practical litmus test. Before adding a new feature, a reporting metric, or an approval gate, a practitioner must ask 2 questions. First, who derives verifiable value from this addition? Second, is there a simpler, more practical way to deliver that same value? If the answer to the first is no one, and the answer to the second is yes, the addition is removed. The goal of modern IT service management is to eliminate waste, optimize the workflow, and focus purely on delivering the outcome.